We have Jeffrey Sachs with us, Columbia University professor, one of the most well-regarded economists and commentators. He's put out a video right now that's going viral on what he believes is the real reason why Iran has been attacked. Professor Sachs, good to have you. Thank you for being here on NDTV on a big day for the region and a big day for the world. I'm going to ask you to tell our viewers what you've said in that video, Professor Sachs. Why do you think Iran has been attacked?
This is the U.S. Attempt to continue or maintain or sustain its global hegemony. This is a war for control of the Middle East. It's a war for control of the oil of the Middle East. It is not at all what Donald Trump said about any threat from Iran. This is just an imperial lie. This is an imperial war, and it is a very vicious one, and it is probably the start of World War III, I have to say. I hope that it's not the start of nuclear annihilation, but I think it is a global war. And it is a war of U.S.-Israeli hegemony in the Middle East and a war for global dominance. The United States invaded Venezuela to control the Western Hemisphere oil. Now it is trying to overthrow the government of Iran to control the Middle East oil. This will hurt India terribly, by the way, and it's also aimed at China. So Asia is the loser in this war, and this is a completely criminal action. But whether anybody stands up and tells the truth about it that is fearful of the United States or Israel, I don't know.
What do you think is going to happen next, Professor Sachs? As far as the escalation ladder is concerned, attacks have taken place on various cities in Iran. There have been retaliatory attacks on US bases in Bahrain, in Abu Dhabi, in Qatar, and a couple of other places. In the past, things have kind of ended at this point. Do you see them escalating onward from here?
Well, of course, there is no path of de-escalation by the US and Israel. These are hegemonic actors. They have announced their goal. Their goal isn't to return Iran to the negotiating table. Iran was at the negotiating table. Their goal was not to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It didn't have one, didn't want one, and had said so for the last 12 years. Donald Trump ripped up the agreement, the JCPOA, that put Iran under a rigorous monitoring regime. This is about global hegemony. And countries like India have to decide, are they independent countries? Do they sign up to US empire? This is what this is about. Israel, by the way, is the most violent country in the world, kilometer by kilometer, by far. But it also banks on having the United States behind it. And it's not just Trump. This is a long-standing CIA project that is underway right now. So this is a very, very dangerous occurrence. This has nothing to do with what is stated. This is about U.S. control over the Middle East, and the idea is U.S. control over the world. The idea is that India will fall into line, the Middle East will fall into line, Latin America has no choice, Europe is a vassal state. That's what this is about.
Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump have just spoken over the phone, according to the latest of what we're hearing, Professor Sachs. In your mind, what might they have discussed? Obviously, I'm not asking you to conjecture, but from everything we know, Netanyahu is calling this Operation Roaring Lion. President Trump calls it Epic Fury. What do you think they talked about?
Well, Trump takes his orders from Netanyahu. This is very simple. Netanyahu came last week and ordered the war, and the war goes on. The United States is actually not even the lead agent in this. The Zionist lobby in the United States is so powerful that it puts the United States repeatedly into these wars. The American public is absolutely against this. This is quite interesting. But the American public does not count for anything right now in our affairs because we do not have a constitutional country. We have basically a military state, and Trump is the figurehead of that military state.
As far as the Al-Khamenei is concerned, Professor Sachs, do you see this playing out in the same template that it has before? His ceremonial home has been targeted. He is about to make a national address in a short while from now. The same boilerplate statements have been issued from Iran saying, there will be a crushing response, and you've seen these token attacks on different bases of the American military in the Middle East. Does Iran have the capacity to do something bigger in your view?
I don't think that the U.S. has the capacity to overthrow the Iranian government in a day or a week or a month, as it believes that it does. If you look at almost all events like this, even overthrowing Bashar al-Assad or overthrowing Milosevic in 1999 or overthrowing Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, the United States does not usually have the means to do this in a day or a month. Maybe they're drunk with their supposed success in Venezuela by exfiltrating a president, but this is not Venezuela. This is a country of 100 million people. It's a vast region. It is a mountainous region. It is a region that understood for many, many years that the United States was out to overthrow it. So it's not unprepared or caught off guard. The Straits of Hormuz, I believe, will be attacked. And so I don't think that these are pinprick operations attacking the Gulf. I think it's preparatory to closing the Straits of Hormuz. Now, all of this then depends on things that I don't properly understand in terms of the military dynamics of the next few weeks. But what I do understand is something about geopolitics. This is a brazen, illegal, vulgar overreach by the United States that I do not see how it can have a success, frankly. One success 73 years ago was when the CIA and MI6 overthrew the Iranian government and installed a police state. I don't see how that can happen in today's world. But that's the model of the United States, that they will soon install a police state. I doubt that this is at all realistic.
Professor Sachs, Reuters reporting a piece of breaking news right now since you mentioned the Gulf of Hormuz. Reuters quoting the IRGC Navy that has announced that no vessels are any longer being allowed to cross and has closed the Strait of Hormuz to any traffic. This is huge. This is Reuters reporting this right now. What do you think the fallout of this immediately is going to be?
Well, I think that this is the Iranian plan. The United States will try to defeat Iran to prevent this from happening. But I would anticipate that there will be a massive disruption of world oil flows in the coming weeks, and that this will most likely, again, I'm guessing, everybody knows I'm guessing because nobody can really anticipate, but I'm guessing that this will put the world economy into a serious crisis in the coming weeks. Again, I'm not there as a military strategist. If the United States thinks it has something up its sleeve, I would be surprised, quite frankly. By the way, I heard just 5 minutes ago that one of the U.S. bombs killed 100 schoolgirls in a school outside of Tehran. This is mass murder. We should not forget the school children that are dying right now.
Yeah.
We'll hear more about this, but I just heard this from a reliable source 5 minutes ago. This is a brazen, murderous, illegal attack, and it's very dangerous for the world. World leaders are pathetic right now. In Europe, they all fall in behind Trump. In Canada, they fell in behind Trump. In Australia, they fell in behind Trump. No one wants peace in this world. They just want to satisfy a mad emperor. This is very dangerous for all of us, I have to say. If people cannot speak the most basic truth of a premeditated, murderous, illegal strike on another country, well, how can we avoid World War III?
What role do you think Russia will or can play in what lies ahead, Professor Sachs? Because the Iranian regime will be looking to Russia. They've been looking to Russia for their weapons supply chain in the run-up to this as well. How do you see the Russian role?
I think both Russia and China will try to find ways to sustain the Iranian regime. This is, as I say, an attack on China as much as it is an attack on Iran. This is part of an American hegemonic move. India should not feel comfortable about that, however. It's going to suffer directly from this, and the whole world suffers when the United States behaves like the British Empire. We don't need another global empire. This is the most basic point.
Final question, Professor Sachs. There was an 8-minute video statement that was put out by Donald Trump. I know you've seen it. Yes. After these attacks began, what did you think of that? Because he was very clear. Even if you accommodate all the hyperbole that you usually grant Trump and his brand of communication, he was very specific about his intended outcome being regime change and the people of Iran rising up and taking back what's theirs. Do you think he's painted himself into a corner, or does that not really matter in Trump's world?
It doesn't matter, but he has painted all of us into the edge of a global precipice. He's a very mentally unstable person. He is delusional and he is a megalomaniac. But on top of that, behind him is the CIA and Mossad. So this is not Trump alone. These are grandiose ideas, long-standing. So it's not only Trump, but there's no brake. There's no foot on the brake. This is only an accelerator towards expanded war right now. And the only way that it can stop is if the BRICS countries, and that means India, that means Brazil, that means Russia, that means China, that means South Africa, and others, and it's Iran, which is a member of the BRICS, says this is not the way the world can work. They have to stand up to American hegemony. This is the only way the world can be safe. And so this is actually a responsibility of the BRICS right now, which is the only standing bulwark against America's global empire. And the empire has gotten a lot more violent today. And it's shown it doesn't want to hide anything anymore. It just is in open war.
Professor Jeffrey Sachs, as always, you give us a great deal to think about as we continue to report this. So I thank you for your time here on NDTV. Look forward to our next conversation with you, because this is clearly something that's going to be going on for a few days. Professor Jeffrey Sachs, thank you.